Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool, and this is the 32-piece DuraTech micro driver bit set. Before I get to that, I want to mention something. I'm going to call this the ceramic wire nut that saved Thanksgiving. I was at a house that had a gas oven, and the gas oven went out simply because the igniter stopped working, and we needed to cook a turkey. It turned out we were doing this on Wednesday, and there was a dealer about 30 minutes away that did have a generic igniter that supposedly you could get working in this LG oven. So I ran out and got it. Came back, the connectors didn't work. By the way, this was what allowed me to get into the place. You know, I could have done it by hand. It would take forever. The machine screws were really long, so a lot of twisting. But I used that DeWalt little right angle thing to get up in there. Here's the Malco 5/16" nut driver. Was able to hold it down there at the way back of the oven. If you've ever swapped out one of the igniters, you probably know what I'm talking about. Unscrewed that out. Magnet held it. I didn't lose any screws. Was able to seat the igniter, but the connectors for the electricity were different, and I could not get them to work, which meant the only way I was going to get electricity to the igniter was to splice the old connector on. So I cut the wires, but I had these ceramic wire nuts. And the reason you have to use, obviously, ceramic wire nuts is because you have to make a solid connection because you're inside a metal, cavity, so the wires have to be covered, and most other materials would melt inside the oven. They are heat-resistant wires. But anyway, and I had those and was able to fix it and get the turkey cooking. But, also I was able to use these to hold or to separate the connector. But the connector in this particular oven, if you work on LG ovens, let me know, but the connector was right at the edge of this metal lip way at the back of the oven. You think there would be extra line or extra wire to move it out, but so I put some vice grips on the wire so it wouldn't fall down, because I have done that in the past, changing igniters, and then you got to fish out the wire. Anyway, long story. But back to this DuraTech. This is a 32-piece. It contains a 72-tooth ratchet. I think it's 70 or 72. And both SAE and metric S2 steel bits of various sizes and shapes. Now, the good thing about this is it was only about $10, and it's a good solid case. So I can customize this, and I do that a lot. This is one that was in my range bag. It's appeared in videos in the past, and I did do a video where I got some Bosch cases on clearance with bits, and I pulled the bits out. And some of you thankfully mentioned you can just order Bosch cases, blank cases, empty cases. So I'm going to experiment with those and make some customized with extensions, drill bits, and specific bits. I have bit sets for maintenance sets for computers, for knife and outdoor equipment, and it's always good to have one of these in your vehicle kit for working on either electronics or other stuff that you brought. If I'm overlanding or camping or whatever and I need to work on any of those objects. But anyway, so what do we have here? A set of bits. I can easily take out the bits that might get heavy use, like number 2 Phillips or something, or like in this case, here's a tiny little hex or Torx, excuse me, and if I wanted to work on something, say this Benchmade knife, this is too small, the hex screw there, or the Torx screw there. So what I could do is put either some number 4 or 4mm bits in here and an adapter, or I could track down a smaller Torx. In this case, this one is not marked. It says it is a number 6. Probably need a number 5 for this. Track one of those down and then customize my box. So it's a good solid box for not much money, and you can certainly use the bits and the extension. This is a little bit different, say, than this Weehaw set. The Weehaw is noticeably heavier than this, even though this is longer, but the Weehaw's handle's pretty thick. Weehaw's got a nice little spinner wheel, to assist there. They could have put one on the DuraTech, excuse me, but they didn't. The reverse lever's fine. It does have more of an extension here. So if you're talking about trying to fit on, stick one of these in each, you know, to see how those fit. It really doesn't make a huge difference if I line that up in terms of clearance. But if you've never used one of these, this would be a good starter set, or to customize for specific needs. And it's not, in fact, it's cheaper in a lot of cases than just buying a set of bits. But you might also buy it just for the case. I got it at an Ace hardware store, and you can get DuraTech stuff all over. In fact, they had a bunch of DuraTech, so I wondered if that was going to be a new line of theirs. So anyway, there's this. There is a hidden hanger. This, I guess, is a feature of theirs. So if you want to hang it in, you know, your shop or something, and then you can just drop that down. So they put a little thought into it. There it is, the DuraTech microdriver 32-piece bit set, and this is part DT404027. And with that, Doc out.